What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Garbear Fitness on YouTube, or as I like to say, wherever this video is going to end up at. I actually just got done meal prepping some pork. I have an air fryer and I've just been blowing, I don't want to say blowing up, that sounds like I'm blowing my kitchen up. I've been making a ton of food in there. Sometimes I actually generally like to use my oven, but I've generally been just using my air fryer. Honestly, I like to kick it up to 400 for 30 minutes just to get everything crisp. The pork chops that I actually just made are very crisp, and they have this slight crunch on the exterior, soft on the inside. Perfect. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm going to talk about today is my favorite exercises for each muscle group. So I'm going to break everything down. You obviously have like your shoulders, back, legs, chest, your big five, things like that. But ideally, what I would like to do is kind of go into more specific exercises that not maybe every gym might have, but some of the favorites that I've come across in different gyms throughout Florida in general. And in general, just exercises with free weights, barbells, whatever we can find. So we're gonna do one exercise discussion per muscle group and go from there. So first thing we're gonna start off with is shoulders. I have been stuck between my favorite exercise with them right now being the shoulder press or the barbell shoulder press. And the reason being is because I generally was never a strong barbell pusher when it came to anything in the upper proportions. My barbell strength generally came from either deadlifts or squats. So same thing with bench for me, for example. So I preference doing dumbbell presses, but at this point right now, I'm kind of like, you know what? I would like to start developing some strength in a muscle, I don't want to say muscle group, developing some strength on an exercise that I'm not as strong with, especially when there's sometimes imbalances between both sides of your body, which we all have, and it's totally normal. So I'm kind of working on the barbell thing first. And I think I mentioned in my last video that all of my exercises for each muscle group, I start out with 6 exercises and then everything is 4 versus the standard maybe like 3 sets per, did I say 6 exercises? I might have meant sets. So let me rephrase that. I start off with 6 sets per exercise for each muscle group, and then everything after the first initial exercise is 4 sets. So instead of starting off with like, 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of dumbbell chest presses, for example, we'll go into 6 sets of dumbbell presses. So we'll do 3 flat bench, 3 incline bench, and then we'll go into 4 sets of barbell chest presses, and then moving forward like that. So anyway, back to the shoulders, guys. Right now, I will have to kind of put at the top of my list the barbell shoulder press as my number 1 right now. I've actually been working on increasing my range of motion, which I think that when I first started training years ago, my range of motion was just kind of here. But I mean, honestly, when you just have like a really strong core, get a good brace and everything, you really can kind of just get a slight stretch here and then push up even more and give yourself a better range of motion. Again, you just have to be really smart about the weight you're using when you are increasing the range of motion, because again, the rotator cuffs are very small muscle groups, and you don't want to injure that because you're going to be out of training for a very long time. So shoulders, barbell shoulder press. Second, let's do the second group. Let's do chest. What have I been doing for chest? I've been doing champagnes. That's my favorite. So I like doing incline champagnes. So if you guys don't know what champagnes are, we're going to take this empty L-citrulline bottle right here and pretend it's a dumbbell, right? So you can do this with 2 dumbbells. I generally prefer to do it with 1 harder dumbbell. So what you're gonna do is you're generally just gonna, like, let's say this is my incline bench stance right here. Here's your dumbbell, and then you're just simply pressing and contracting and squeezing the chest like this versus, having a pressing motion like this. Everything is coming towards the center. And honestly, when your shoulders are, I shouldn't say your shoulders, but your deltoid area and your arms are kind of like a little bit more in line with your chest. I feel like you get to squeeze your chest here a little bit more. And I love it as a finisher for my chest generally. So after my barbell and my dumbbell exercises, I generally like to move to my champagnes, and maybe I'll do cables after that, but I like to generally do cables first and then now finish up with champagnes as like kind of a fryer. So sometimes, like, to fry my chest out, I don't always do super heavy champagne sets. Sometimes I'll just grab a 20-pound dumbbell and just rep till failure 4 times. So that's my favorite chest one right now. Let's do, what was I just doing the other day for back? Ooh, this is a good one. So another exercise that I never really did for my back, and I started doing it recently, was dumbbell pullovers. I generally like to do those towards the end of my workouts as well too, but I generally will grab like a 20, I think I got up to 35 pounds. When I start new muscle exercises, guys, I like to generally start at a fairly moderate weight and then just slowly climb up. So right now I've gone up to the 35 pound dumbbell weight on the overheads. So I really like those. There are a lot of machines in gyms for those. They're called they call them they're usually by the brand Nautilus. So you usually call them Nautilus pullovers. Sometimes there's different brands that make these machines, but if someone ever says the Nautilus pullover machine, it's going to be a machine where you're sitting down and then there's a pad by your, I think it's by your, somewhere around here, and then you're pulling the bar over like this. I love doing that for a long time, but as of right now, I generally prefer to doing the dumbbell pullovers myself. I think that there's like a slightly better squeeze you can get when you're getting to this point, and I also like that you can control the stretch back even further. And sometimes those machines overall are not really, they're not really set, I feel like, for everyone's body type. For me, for example, I kind of find that the ones that I've worked out at different gyms are built for people who are bigger than me. I'm like 5'11". So I feel like sometimes they're built for people who might be like 6'2" or just, you know, in the 200-pound range, and they could just kind of fit into those machines a bit snugger. I feel like mine is just, I'm always stretching to just reach my arms to the pads and things like that. So that's my favorite one for back. For tricep, not triceps, I'm sorry, we're going to get to triceps. For traps, what I've been doing is either I've been doing, now I'm deciding between two exercises. So we're doing face pulls, so instead of dumbbell shrugs, so they have a machine where obviously you can load the plates onto it, and you're kind of like, you can do deadlifts with them, or what I call dead squats, where you are squatting something in like that, what is it? It's the farmer's walk. You guys know that the farmer's walk thing that you, I'm trying to explain it in like basic language, but it's like a barbell that goes around you. It's shaped into like a pentagon, and you can just load the plates on it. Well, there's actually a machine that you can walk into, and it's usually attached to a machine that's like a squat press. But this one, you can generally just put the plates on it and shrug as well. So that's one of my favorite ones. But you know what? I'm going to go with the face pulls. Face pulls I've recently added to my trap workout. It's kind of hard to do face pulls without trying to target the rear delts. But again, that's just form and concentration at the end of the day. And that's really just where you're going to find your focus for the traps there. And it's really going to focus on the lower part of your traps. Because again, you have your upper traps here, and then the traps actually cut down like a pair of scissors. So if you've ever seen someone with a really developed back, you're going to notice that it looks like there's a pair of scissors or pliers there. That's their traps running from the upper traps here to the lower traps down in the middle back. Biceps. I've been huge right now on seated Zotman curls. I don't know if you guys have ever done Zotman curls, but Zotman curls are generally when you're going to lift the weight up like you're going to do dumbbells for these, not barbells. And then you're going to rotate and then lower the weight slowly. Curl up, rotate the wrists, lower it slowly. So you're going to go from pronated to supinated, and then you're going to slowly lower it. So those have been really, really good for me lately. I've been doing seated ones. You can do them standing as well, but I generally preference doing them seated right now so I can just strictly focus on bicep movements. Triceps right now, I've been really, really big on cable overhead pulls. So instead of doing sometimes skull crushes, for example, with dumbbells and barbells, because I actually have tricep tendonitis, got it years ago from poor lifting. I might actually retell a story about that one day, and how I kind of discovered that I got it. So, feel a burp, excuse me. So the cable cable tricep pullovers, again, you know, you guys are going to be going here like in a skull crusher position, and then you're going to be pulling over this way. I just feel like the cable system allows there to be a specific trajectory that you can kind of adjust with your body, height, angle, things like that, position, that I like a little bit more than laying on the bench right now. And it does take a little bit of the stress off of my triceps. And I feel like I can get a little bit of a better contraction out of that one. So I love doing that one as well too. Let's see, we're doing legs. Oof. Number one right now is the pendulum squat. The only few gyms that I've seen here in Orlando that have one would be, I believe it's Iron Religion where I work out at, Amped Fitness in Carrollwood, which is Tampa, and then I think Power Strength Gym might have one, and I think Fitness CF might have one. There's obviously a few other gyms you have, like Kissimmee Muscle, then you could go further south and go to Miami Iron. I know that they opened the new Raw Gym by Chris Bumstead. What else do they have? They had Redcon might have it as well too, but again, I like to use the one at the Iron Religion. That's where I train at in Orlando. And the pendulum squat is just, it feels very weird because when you're going on this kind of axis like this, you almost feel like you're floating in a zero gravity, but the contraction going up when you're squeezing feels amazing. So we'll target that one for the quads. We'll say that's quads. Hamstrings, guys, is the horizontal leg press. So instead of the standard leg press where you're laying here and your legs are pushing up this way, the horizontal one is when you're laying just like the horizon flat, and then you're pushing the platform up straight forward. So, or straight, not forward, up. So that one has been a super, super good hamstring focus for me as well. Glutes. There's a machine now that I like to use for the glutes, which is the hip thrust machine. I'm not really too big on doing the barbell one. I know some people might complain about it, but as I'm sure a lot of people have the same issue, I have very, very low body fat around my pelvic bone area. So sometimes the barbell puts a lot of stress there. So I like to use the machines. I've always said that this is women's strongest exercise. Women have phenomenal glute strength and hip strength from just genetics, in my opinion, which is so really cool to kind of watch the fascination. Let me rephrase it. I'm so fascinated by the differences between the strengths and weaknesses between the men and women's body types. So that's my favorite exercise for the glutes. Let's see, calves. Most gyms don't have this one as well. Iron Religion now has one. I used to use the one at Fitness CF, which used to be Gold's Gym on Turkey Lake, but they have a donkey calf press. So now Iron Religion and Fitness CF have a donkey calf press. Donkey calf press machine, guys, is like, I don't know, that's probably like top 3 rarest machines I've ever found. It's a machine, I think that it's just not very popular to use. Everyone generally uses the standing barbell press, not barbell press. You can do a barbell standing calf press, but there's a calf press machine that's always standing. The donkey calf press, I feel like when you're bent over at that 90-degree angle, you can get a little bit more of a stretch and focus on contracting the calves. And I like that as well. So, and let's see for abs. What have I been doing for my abs lately that I really like? I would say it's not the standard crunch machine, the ab crunch. It is the one that it's like you're bringing the lower half and then the upper half together. Again, it's another machine that is fairly common at gyms, but I don't see it very, very often. And I think that I generally like doing that, and then I like to go into my hanging leg raises and then regular crunches on the machine or on the floor. It just kind of depends on how I feel that day. But I will say that my MVP ab workout will always go to stuttering. I'm like so hungry right now. I'm ready for my next meal, guys. Which, by the way, the 5,000 calories a day has been at 3 weeks now, and we're gonna keep going, guys. We're gonna keep going. But anyway, back to the conversation. Decline crunches have always been my ultimate to go ab workout, and I have not found a good decline bench since I left Fitness CF. I used to do 10 sets on there for 10 reps to 20 reps each. Don't know how I used to do it all the time, but I think it was because I was also coming out of swimming all the time, and at that point in my life, my core was just used to a lot of endurance. So I would like to try and find a gym that has a really, really good one again, because I don't really like the way that most gyms feel. But my apartment complex actually does have a very, very good one, so I'm probably going to start incorporating that at the end of my ab workout. So that is the ab MVP exercise for me. And let's say forearms. There are times where I'll do like the barbell curls. Or dumbbell curls for forearms as well, but I generally like the grips. Like, you guys can order grips on Amazon where it'll allow you to just squeeze the grips and there's weights on them. Some of them have adjustable weights, or some of them come in box sets where they come with different types of grip weight strength on them. So like there might be 2 pounds, 5 pounds, so on and so forth. And I think it's just really important, guys, to continue to develop that grip strength and forearm strength, especially if you're doing a lot of pulling motions, especially if you're doing a lot of pushing motions, for example, too, because you don't want to have weak wrists that are going to falter under a bar. And then you also might be doing a lot of pull-ups in general, or chin-ups as well. So highly recommend continuing to develop those forearms and just grip strength overall. But that's what I want to talk about today, guys. My favorite exercises for any muscle groups. Man, why do I feel like I'm forgetting something? I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting a muscle group, but that's probably because I'm thinking about so many muscle groups right now. I'm pretty sure I covered everything. But anyway, guys, also just want to let you know, I'm still taking some online coaching slots as well, or consultations as well too. It's just been great kind of just, again, communicating with everybody, conversing with people and understanding their goals right now. Also understanding how the fitness world has changed, which I think I talked about in like 2 or 3 episodes ago, about just kind of how I feel like the technology's changed, the knowledge has changed, the information, the studies have changed, and a lot of just personal training aspects. And I'm still continuing to open these slots up and just continue to get to know what you guys want to do and how you want to move forward with your goals. So I do have some slots open, guys. There are also some programs that I actually wrote. I wouldn't take the programs if you're a newer lifter. If you're someone who's a little more experienced right now, or looking to improve a program that you have, I'd look at the Garbear's 9-week training program, volume 1 and or 2. And in general, guys, if you need a little bit more information on how to eat, how to track your macros, different types of fad diets, why I'm not big on fad diets and why I don't feel like they work very well for people, and understanding how your body works, you have Garbear's Guide to Proper Nutrition. That's always been available on garbearfitness.com. It's actually discounted right now. So head over there. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, please shoot me a message at the website on the contact page, garbearfitness.com. Check it out. Be sure to subscribe, follow the IG, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Boom.